Hey everyone, I'm Bagotrix, and today I'm going to talk about something that came across my feed. Asmongold's first experience wandering into Heavensward, Final Fantasy XIV. So it's really cool that he and his chat got to sit back and watch the cinematics for the entrance to Heavensward. That in and of itself is an experience that you get to share with a whole mess of different gamers, but that wasn't what made this special. No, what made this special was what the community on the Cactuar server in Final Fantasy XIV did for him, and I feel like also did for just MMOs in general. See, when you play an MMO, I don't know what goes through your mind or the people who generally are on there, but for me, it is going into a new world, not escaping, but finding someplace else to explore. A lot of the time, that fanfare is carried off in my mind as to whatever happens when we're going through a story or a particular expansion. It doesn't really matter, because this is a fantasy world, and I kind of see it as it is, and which is why playing on a server that's not dead means a lot to actually making it feel like the world's alive. Now, taking that one step further and actually doing role-playing. When you have a moment like that, it's something magical, something extraordinary, and that's what the Cactuar community gifted to Asmongold. I mean, just look at his face as he gets to the gate of judgment, as he rolls up and he sees all of these people as he's being ferried to the entrance of the gates of judgment to finally make his way into Ishgard and heralding the start of this expansion. That is a moment that every single player on an MMORPG can create for the average player just by talking, engaging, being part of that community, doing things that make it feel like the world is alive. And it's this moment that for me encapsulates what it means to play on an MMORPG, what it means to feel like you're part of that community, what it means to provide an experience in a game that helps facilitate that type of communal connection. And we got to sit here and experience it all together. Now, for those of you who are unaware of what actually happened, so it looks like the community on Cactuar got together because that's where Asmongold plays. They organized the mass procession of people all coming together to welcome him into the new expansion after his 5-day ordeal in going through the after patch of Final Fantasy XIV's A Realm Reborn, which, for those of you who have been through it, you know how maybe sometimes boring and just a lot of running around that Final Fantasy XIV Realm Reborn was at the end of the patch and in between Heavensward. And finally, to just top it all off, on the end of that huge story arc, you have him being welcomed into Ishgard. And the look of sheer childlike joy on his face is just something to be remarked. Absolutely something that I wish that other people get to experience, and I feel like it shouldn't end here. Like, this shouldn't be the end of it. That moments like these should be happening regardless of whether or not you are a large name streamer, regardless of whether or not people are watching, just making the world feel alive by living in it, reading other people, being nice, being personable to the point where it feels like not wow. I don't know any other way to put it, because a lot of people who played WoW were not exactly the friendliest sort of people. I might get a lot of hate for that, but you know what? That's also my experience in World of Warcraft. Just a lot of people being very rude. And I find a lot of things that end up being in Final Fantasy XIV take on a life of their own. Like, for instance, my FC that we're in recently had promotions for all the people who were in it, and you know, the FC leader invited us to the FC home, and we all had a promotion ceremony. It's little things like that actually make it more fun, and which lend credence to this whole experience with the fanfare, with the streamers, with the endless procession of just celebration as somebody gets to the new expansion. I would love to see if there was an FC out there, or if there was some sort of set of people who made it their job to just greet people into new expansions. That would be absolutely phenomenal. There's just nothing else out there like that. And I don't think that this should be a one-off momentous occasion. There should be more of this. This shouldn't have to be something that just happens because somebody who is well known has come to enjoy a game that so many others enjoy. I wish that I had that experience going into Ishgard, for it's what happened in my mind. Seeing the staircase and the bridge and watching as you go across from the gates of judgment into the city proper, it's nothing short of one of those momentous occasions in the game that you just never forget. You just don't forget. And then having this happen on top of it, imagine if you were that player. I want to be that player. I want to be in a world where people are so engrossed, so in love with the stories, the characters, and the things that they do stuff like that. Like that. And I know that this isn't the first time that I've seen stuff on Final Fantasy XIV where the community bands together to do something that marks an occasion. For instance, when the creator of the manga Berserk passed away, all the Dark Knights in the major cities were standing as a vigil to mark his passing, with their swords buried in the ground with the bonfire out, marking the passing of the person who created Berserk. And I loved seeing that. I loved it. And I really wish that more things like this would come to light. I wish that more communities would share them. And if you see them, please send them my way so I can experience it. I love this. As somebody who's played MMOs since the days of EverQuest, stuff like this, whenever it happens, makes my entire heart sing. And there needs to be more. So my hat's off to you and the Cactuar server. If you were part of this event, thank you for making it a thing. I don't really care who it was that gets to experience this, only know that I am jealous, and I congratulate Asmongold for being a wonderful human being enough to not be a jerk about it and letting all these people do what they wanted to do and yeet him into the new expansion. I mean, come on, you could be an absolute jerk about it. You could have actually said that, you know, I don't like this, you're ruining my experience. And when that title drops for Heavensward, it just solidifies the moment when everyone else that wasn't part of the outside procession just pops right in. And he's just like,
wow.
Mouth agape for like a good minute. He says a couple things, but you don't really have anything to say to that. What do you say to that? And I just love it. I love it. And so, you know what? Again, if you see anything else out there on the internet like this, please let me share it. Let me be part of it. I want to experience it because I know if I had a virtual world and I had people who were living their lives in it, that I would want them to feel so strongly about the experiences that they had here to make another player have such a wonderful experience to the point where they just don't even know what to say, and that they want to in turn do stuff like this for other people because it does pay forward. So go out there, create experiences like that, make other people want to enjoy virtual worlds like this, and then share them with me because I love these conversations. And if you like my content, hit the subscribe button, come back. We'll find more things to talk about later, but until then, until your next adventure, peace out.